Hi, everyone. My name is Aida Gruden, and I'm a clinical doctoral intern here at HUCS. I'm here to talk about something that might be on our minds as we head into the holidays and winter break, where you'll be spending a lot of time with family and loved ones. So perhaps when you're sitting at the dinner table, you might wonder why you've always had someone in the family where one parent or partner has either physically or emotionally abused another member of the family. This may have seemed totally normal in the family system. And maybe it was even difficult to understand that someone could love you or others if they didn't hit you or act out. Perhaps it wasn't until recently when you saw something about domestic violence that you may have even connected that this kind of abuse is something that is present in your current or past generation of family. I want to talk today about generational trauma and how it impacts our relational and attachment style. First, what is generational trauma and how is it transmitted from generation to generation? So, in its simplest form, generational trauma is any traumatic experience that is transferred from parent to child. It can encompass historic trauma like slavery, racism, Holocaust, or genocide, or it can be any particular family behavior like substance abuse, violence, and neglect. These traumas can influence identity, habits, or behaviors that are repeated generationally. So, how is transmission done? Well, one, through epigenetics, where our genes are impacted by family or systemic culture and then passed down through our DNA. Second, because children take on the pain of their parents and try to help them in their suffering. Three, dysfunctional parenting patterns, which are enacted toward children and then passed down. And then four, specific communication styles in families which reflect the traumas of the past. So, really briefly, I'm going to define some attachment styles and beginning with the secure attachment. This is often thought of as healthy attachment because the child has been given consistent care, attunement, and comfort. This style is also characterized by a willingness to be open and near people that we love and care for. There's also a willingness to turn to them for comfort and safety, and a lack of worry if they're not around. The second is anxious avoidant attachment. And as the name suggests, this style is characterized by individuals who've been hurt in their experience with caregivers such that they really avoid intimacy. They hesitate to show any vulnerability in relationships and may not even feel a lot of distress when relationships end. And if they are in relationships, they might waver between an intense desire for closeness and even dependence on others, and then withdraw in relationships. Intimacy might actually feel easier if there's lots of casual relationships or sex. Then we have the anxious ambivalent attachment. In this style, the child likely has experienced distress because of the absence of their primary caregiver. They may have internalized that rejection is inevitable in relationships and find it difficult to get close to others. There may be constant suspicion that people and especially intimate partners don't really love them. In the disorganized attachment, the child has really concluded that they can't rely on their primary caregivers or that there might be um, a danger and cautious aspect to relationships. They might have even had to parent their own caregiver. And as a result, as adults, they feel confused in relationships and tend to just avoid them. So, how are these related? So, if a parent has unresolved trauma, then it's more than likely that their parenting styles lead to insecure attachment. And this will probably lead to relationships that feel familiar because it reflects parenting that did not really have secure attachment. So, even while it may sound shocking, you might even feel unconsciously like someone putting a hand on you or hitting feels like love because as a child, both those things became related from generation to generation. This is why learning family patterns and individual behaviors can be really important in terms of healing the present and also future generations. So, what can you do? Working with a good therapist will help you understand these early attachment behaviors, styles, and Um, how to overcome them. You can connect with mental health services at HUCS by calling or emailing. And above all, don't be overwhelmed or hopeless. It is possible to overcome generational trauma.